Okay, we've got a Mercruiser 5.0 liter V8 out, and it's a carbureted model. And I want to take this time to go through starter procedure for a cold engine and for a hot engine, and what to do when it floods. So on the Mercruiser, it's a Commander 3000 control box. Every control box has a feature to let you go to throttle only, and it also has a feature to keep you from starting in gear. So right now we're in neutral. The engine should crank over, which it did. If I was to accidentally put it in gear, the engine should not crank over. So right now I've got nothing. So that's also a little tip too. If you get out there and the engine doesn't want to crank just all of a sudden, make sure you're actually seated in neutral and try again. A lot of times it's just that neutral safety switch isn't where it's supposed to be. It just didn't click or whatever. So anyway, starter procedure. If this engine was cold, we've been running this engine, so it's been firing up great. But if it was cold, the procedure would be, there's a release button, you push the button in, lift the red handle up and slide it first, forward or backwards, doesn't matter. This is the first detent. This is idle still. It's just the first detent, okay? You're gonna leave it at that detent, and then you're gonna proceed to pump 3 full pumps before you even crank. This is only for cold start, when the engine has not been running. This engine's been running, so it's not gonna like this, because I'm actually pumping fuel into the engine, so it's gonna make it a little harder to start right now. But this is what you would do for a cold start. Then you would crank and cycle until it tried to start. If it didn't start the first time, stop cranking. All you're doing is killing your starter. Pump 3 more times and try again until it kicks off and goes. Once it goes, you can bump the throttle up a little bit and keep it running, or let it idle, depending on your boat. They're all a little different. If you've pumped too many times and you've flooded it, and now it doesn't want to start at all, like I'm purposely flooding this engine right now. It's not going to want to start. Got a prolonged crank now. It's because it's got too much fuel, so that's a flooded engine. I'm gonna do it some more. There's a stage, and what you do is you go and you place the throttle to full throttle, wide open throttle. At this stage, when you're first cranking, you're only going to be drafting air into the engine and no fuel, because until air starts flowing through the carburetor and it creates a venturi in the carburetor where it creates the fuel flow, there's no fuel flowing. So at this stage, you're just letting a lot of air in. So this is a clear flood stage, and what you do is you crank and be ready to bring the throttle back, because once it starts, the RPM is going to go way up. So you're going to hear it, it's going to cough a couple times, and then it's going to get real throaty sounding, and then it's going to catch, and then it's going to start to pick up RPM, and that's where I'm going to bring the throttle back. So here we go. Just like that. So you can be aggressive on these old carbureted engines with the pumping. If they're cold, and if it's colder climate, they really like the extra fuel to start at first, but once they're warmed up, it should be pretty much turnkey starting once they've been warmed up, but not until then. So you need to pump it that 3 times, and then crank for a few seconds, 3 times, crank for a few seconds. Usually you'll hear it hit within the first couple tries. If you've gone too far, try the clear flood, and that will get you from having to worry about flooding the engine. So everyone's always worried about flooding their engine. You can clear them in 30 seconds. So be aggressive with it, and hopefully that'll help you get started at the ramp a little easier. Thank you.